Why is playing basketball at Madison Square Garden, which is no ordinary arena, one of the toughest jobs in the world, regarded as the heart of basketball? This venue has been a true New York Knicks for 80 years. It is both the team's greatest strength and one of its heaviest burdens. The Knicks have become the league's most valuable and even most talked about franchise, and above all, the one that has suffered the most over the years. Everyone involved in the organization knows full well that this team didn't reach its current state in a single season. Decisions spanning decades, including some setbacks and rebirths, have clearly shaped this identity. Throughout this video, you'll see the 10 critical moments that forever and most significantly altered Knicks history, and we'll start counting down from 10 to 1. By the way, don't forget to subscribe to the channel because the content you'll love will continue to be here for you on this channel once the season starts. Number 10, the night it all began. Exactly 80 years ago on November 1st, 1946, the Knicks took the court against the Toronto Huskies in what is officially recognized as the league's first game, and they managed to win it. The fact is, that night wasn't just about a single game. It officially laid the foundation for the modern NBA, and the Knicks have managed to remain one of the few founding franchises that have never moved cities since that day. This stability was actually one of the first building blocks of the franchise's identity. Had that night not happened, New York might never have earned its claim to be the heart of basketball. Number 9, the legendary captain. When we reached the 1970 finals, Willis Reed, whose injured leg made playing in Game 7 seem virtually impossible, stepped out of the tunnel onto the court, and the Garden erupted. Reed managed to make his first 2 shots of the game, and Walt Frazier delivered what is perhaps one of the greatest Game 7 performances in history with 36 points and 19 assists. Thus, the Knicks won their first championship. But what was truly won that night was perhaps more than just a trophy. That night, the very spirit of the franchise was born. Sacrifice, courage, and team basketball, the Knicks' identity emerged from that tunnel to stay forever. Number 8, proof of the summit. The Knicks managed to win their second championship by defeating the Lakers in 1973. Red Holzman's smart basketball had officially reached perfection with Bradley, Reed, Frazier, and Monroe. Of course, this championship also proved in a way that the first one wasn't a fluke. But no one knew that this victory would mark the beginning of a 53-year wait for another championship, and that championship became both a legacy and, unfortunately, a burden to be carried through the generations. Number 7, destiny drawn from the envelope. 41 years ago, the first NBA draft lottery was held in 1985. And the name drawn from the envelope was New York. Patrick Ewing arrived in the city, and for 15 years he was the very heart of the franchise. And he single-handedly carried the legendary, tough, and fiercely competitive Knicks culture of the 90s. Perhaps without that draft lottery, those great, fiercely competitive years of the 90s might never have happened. Number 6, 2 centimeters and a lifetime. It's Game 7 of the 1994 Finals against Houston, and it's John Stark's nightmare night, and I'm talking about a championship that slipped through their fingers. The Knicks thus lost one of the greatest opportunities in history. Of course, this loss didn't just mean losing a series. I'd say it was perhaps the first sign that Ewing's generation would go without a championship. Not even the incredible fairy tale of reaching the finals from the 8th seed in '99 could ever fully heal that wound. That Game 7 can be described as one of the beginnings of the franchise's longest period of heartbreak. Number 5, the Kings' farewell. In 2000, Ewing was traded, and the following 10 years became the darkest period in Knicks history in every sense of the word. Years marked by inflated contracts, failed trades, and above all, management chaos succeeded in turning the league's most valuable team into a cautionary tale for the entire league. However, this dark period also taught the franchise a very costly lesson. Above all, impatience and the pursuit of star players certainly did not lead to a championship. Of course, this lesson would essentially become the foundation for the new system that would be established years later. Number 4, Melo. 15 years ago, the Knicks sent a large portion of their roster to Denver in exchange for Carmelo Anthony. In fact, Melo brought star power and excitement back to the city. In 2013, they had a fantastic season with 54 wins. However, this move, which sacrificed depth, failed to open a window for a championship in the long run. The Melo era thus taught New York a critical lesson. A single star is never enough. The right system and the right roster depth are essential conditions that must accompany it. Number 3, the quiet revolution. Leon Rose took over as general manager in 2020 and brought in Tom Thibodeau as head coach. Instead of making headline-grabbing moves, the team focused on accumulating draft picks. A culture was built and discipline was restored to the team. Thibodeau led the Knicks to the playoffs 4 times in 5 years and took them to the conference finals for the first time in 25 years. Although his subsequent departure was controversial, this era had clearly laid the groundwork upon which a championship would be built. Number 2, the end of the wait. I'm talking about the end of a 53-year wait just 1 month ago in June 2026. Under Mike Brown's leadership, the Knicks defeated the San Antonio Spurs 4-1 in the finals, and Jalen Brunson averaged 45 points over 5 games, and he officially presented the trophy to the Garden, which had been longing for it. A very long wait that had lasted since 1973 had finally come to an end. A fan base that had suffered for generations finally reached the pinnacle. And it was precisely this moment that caused the franchise to reestablish its identity as a championship contender. Number 1, the signature that changed history. Now you might ask me, why isn't the championship number 1? Because the moment that opened the door to that trophy was in fact a powerful signature made in 2022. Back then, when Jalen Brunson arrived from Dallas, many experts viewed that contract as a bit of an overreach. However, that signing completely changed everything. Afterward, Brunson became the true heart of the team, and the stars somehow rallied around him. As a result, New York once again became a city where stars wanted to play. If it weren't for that signing, perhaps that 2026 championship wouldn't have been possible. In other words, a single decision actually turned the tide of a story spanning nearly 80 years. Here are the 10 critical moments that truly shaped Knicks history, and this franchise is not just about championships or, of course, stars. Today's champion Knicks were built on every mistake and especially every heartbreak of the past. The real question here is this the beginning of a long-lasting dynasty or just a one-time victory? Also, do you think it was the right move to prioritize signing Brunson over winning the championship, or should the championship have been the top priority? Be sure to share your own ranking in the comments. By the way, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel because we'll keep bringing you content you'll love on this channel. See you in the next video.